everyone, and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm going to share this technique, how to create this technique. It uses a couple of products that are in the January to June mini catalogue, but are carrying over to the new annual catalogue, and that is the messages die along with the many messages stamp set. And just so you know, in the new catalogue there's another stamp that's come out with which will fit this die, that has a whole load of different greetings. As you can see, there's lots of different greetings on there. So I'm going to share with you how I created this card. So first of all, we're going to create the greetings, and so this is the stamp. I've loaded it on my Stamparatus because personally I find it easier with these big stamps to do that. I have arthritis in my fingers, and so this is really helpful. So I have a piece of cardstock. Now this is 6x6. But you can get away with 6x5.5. And on my Stamparatus, I've marked where I need to place my card, so I know that I'm going to get it in the right place. And I'm going to use Memento Black for this. The other card that the sample used Gorgeous Grape, but I'm going to use as I say, the Memento Black. So I'm just going to lay my ink down. I just find it works better for me to slide it around and then tap it round. And then I'm just going to bring over and stamp. And I think I need to pull it down slightly. There we go. I'm just going to bring it down a tiny little smudge because I can just see that it wasn't going to quite hit. And then I'm going to just press firmly all over to make sure that my ink is transferred nicely. Now, if I get some areas that I'm not quite happy with, I can just see that this one isn't terribly good. Because I'm using my Stamparatus, I can go back, and as long as I don't touch anything with my ink, with my card, I can go back and I can just give that one a bit more ink. So that's my stamping done. Now I do have quite a few videos on how to use the Stamparatus. So if you check my channel, you'll be able to see them all listed. So now this is my piece that I'm going to be cutting out, and I'm using my Big Shot. Sorry, no, my Cut and Emboss. Old habits die hard. And I found that if you can see, we've got some hearts and stars here. I found that if you line up the hearts and stars with the die, you're going to get a good layout on the, a good cut on the other pieces. And just to make sure everything sits in place, I'm going to use some washi tape. And so we're just going to line things up, working on, I think that's it. So I'm just going to pop no, I'm not quite happy with that. Let's see, that isn't quite there. Okay, now I'm happy. I'm just going to put my washi tape down, and I'm going to get my Cut and Boss machine. So for this one, I'm going to have my layers. You can see that my plates are very well loved, but they're perfectly fine. So we're going to need the thick base plate and the thin adapting plate. Then I'm going to use one of my clear plates, much loved. Then I'm going to place this down on there, and then I've got one plate on top. I have people sometimes say to me, they get not quite sure how to do their plates. That's why I've taken the trouble to explain them. So then I'm going to just crank it through. Now I'm going to crank it through slowly because there is a lot of card for this die to cut. If you whiz it through quick, it doesn't give the rollers time to put pressure on the cutting edges. Now it crackles and creaks, but everything is fine. So before I move anything, I'm going to just flip it over and just see that everything is cut. Love it. Everything's cut beautifully. Okay, so we're done with that for the minute. And then if you move out and remove your die and push out, you've got lots of lovely greetings that you can add to your projects. So that's how you use this wonderful stamp with the dies. So next I'm going to show you how I created my my effect, sort of a patchwork effect on this card. So what I did was I took a number of different colours of cardstock. I think I've got So Saffron, Highland Heather, Balmy Blue, Blushing Bride, and Soft Seafoam here. And I just took pieces of card and I just ran it through with the die, and it gave me all these lovely shapes in lots of different colours. Then I took a piece of card, just a piece of white card, and then I took the piece that was left over and I laid it on my card. Now this is 5 1/4 by 4 inches wide. All right. And so I'm just going to lay it down on my piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to lay it down. It's obviously, you can see it's a lot bigger than my piece of cardstock, but I'm just going to position it like that, and then I'm going to lay my pieces out. So the first thing you're going to do is decide which greeting that you want to use. And I quickly picked up Hooray. So I know now, because that goes up in that one, I know that I've got to make sure that that one is, all of it is visible here. So that I'm going to pop that there so I don't stick that one down. And then just taking my pieces out, I'm going to fix them, going to lay them down on my piece of card like this, and I already pre-selected them so that I wouldn't waste your time while I decided my colors. And the only criteria I had for myself was making sure I didn't put two colors next to one another like that. All right, so I laid all my colors out in my little slots. Even the little flowers, I cut out the flowers, and so I would lay those. Oh, I wouldn't put that one there because it's the same color. So I've got this pink one. So just laying out everything on my piece like this. It's moved. I would just use a little bit of adhesive tape for this if I needed to. So like that. Alrighty, and like this. All right, so, and then I've got one that I've already done here, and then I would just get some adhesive. Now, those of you who watch my videos know that I like to use liquid adhesive. So I just put a little bit of liquid adhesive and push it in like that. Now my greeting, I'm using a different greeting on this one. My greeting I'm not going to stick down at this point. So I've got all my pieces stuck down now. I'm going to move this out the way. And then I'm just going to gently remove my mask here. It should come up with a little bit of persuasion because I didn't actually put any adhesive underneath it. There we go. Hey, hey. Oh, looks like a couple I didn't stick down. I was trying to save them and then for my demonstration, and then I couldn't find, and then I didn't see them. There we go. But and then I've got my little heart. I'm just going to pop a little bit of adhesive on the back. So don't do as I did. Make sure everything's stuck down. Now the reason I use this is to just make sure that I didn't run out of space, that I had enough room on my card to space all my pieces out. Once I got that done, out with the paper snips, and I'm going to trim all these pieces back. And I'm just trimming it back to my piece of card. And you can use your paper trimmer for this if you wish. But these paper snips work just fine for me. There we go. So there's my piece there. Now, originally I was going to kind of just leave it at that and stick it on my card base. But I decided that it looked a weeny bit on the plain side. So I got out one of my embossing folders. Now this is Parisian Flourish. And I recommend, well, you can use any one in your stash, but I recommend that you get one of the three, use one of the 3D ones with nice deep embossing. To get the really good effect. And you're going to lay this down in here so that the decorated side is on the side, or can be seen through where you can see the Stampin' Up logo. And then we're going to run it through the embossing machine. And this time I'm going to use just the thick base. And I'm going to lay my embossing folder down, and you want to lay it in so that the hinge goes in first. I find that puts less stress on the hinge on your embossing folder, and it's less likely to snap into two. Okay, so then we're just going to crank it through. Again, I don't go too fast, just give it an opportunity to really take in the embossing. And there you go. I think that does look so much more effective than simply just leaving it unembossed. Okay, and then my final finishing for this card is that you're going to need to choose one of your colours of cardstock for your card base. And any one of them would have worked, but I decided that I would use my So Saffron, partly because it's one of those colours that I tend to forget about. And It is such a pretty colour that it deserves to be featured. And so I'm just got some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back like that. Press that firmly. And now I've got my greeting. So I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back. Wishing you a year of magical moments and wonderful memories. And I'm just going to pop it where it would be there. And as my final flourish, I've made a bow. And because I'm using pink, I decided I would use the snail mail twine combo. And I've just tied myself a bow. Now I do have videos on my bow tying. And you'll be able to find them on my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to choose just one of my pieces to pop it on like that. And then I think maybe a pearl, just a little pearl one, to just finish it off. Where can I pop that just to give it a bit more? There we are. No more, no less than that. Okay, so there we have another use for this really useful set, the stamp set and the die, and just giving you a different idea. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this technique. You can give me a thumbs up. I'd certainly appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you look below this video, you'll see a link to my blog where you'll be able to go ahead and get some more information on the dimensions and everything for this particular card and technique. Thanks for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. Bye for now.